Welcome to the Get Published podcast, sponsored by Brodie Consulting Group. To get more information about our publishing and coaching services, go to getpublishedpodcast.com. Hello, I am Paul Brodie, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Get Published podcast, where we help authors get published with a proven system that works. Today, we're being joined by Tina Tessina, author of Dr. Romance's Guide for Finding Love Today. Tina, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Paul. It's wonderful to be here.
Are you ready to get started?
I am.
All right, let's get going. Question number 1. What is the one piece of advice that you would give to a first-time author who's currently writing their book?
Well, I would say if you're really first time and you don't have a track record, self-publishing is a great way to start because you can control the whole thing yourself. You'll learn a lot. It's not easy, but it is worth the effort, and when your book sells enough, then you can attract publishers.
So with your books, did you go self route or did you go traditional?
Well, you know, I'm a dinosaur. I've been publishing since 1980 when it was a whole entirely different ball game.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been published by big publishers, and I've done 24 city book tours and all that stuff, but that doesn't really exist anymore unless you're some kind of a celebrity already. So now I find it better to self-publish my books, and I make more money that way, and I have more control, and I already know the marketing things. So,
well, what do you feel is the hardest part about getting published?
Well, the hardest part about getting published, if you're getting somebody else to publish you, is finding a publisher who's going to give you a fair deal and is interested enough to publish your book.
And what about for those that are going the self-publishing route? What do you feel is the hardest part for those?
Well, the hardest part for me was the technical part. You know, formatting my book for Create Space and now KDP was the hardest part because I had been published by others and I didn't know how to do any of that. And I had a gentleman who did it for me for a couple of books, and then he passed away, so that wasn't very convenient for me. So then I had to figure it out. That's the hardest part, the tech part, I think.
Yeah, just one thing I always say about publishing, I don't really feel there's anything difficult, but everything is just so tedious. And then once you have the publishing part, then you have to deal with the marketing and all these different things. There's just so many different moving parts, and it's for every single book launch. It never really changes, because no matter if it's your first book, your 13th book, or your 100th book, there's always that similar process it entails.
I agree. I think that's right, and it is tedious, and it does require doing a whole bunch of stuff you've already done, but doesn't seem to work the next time you do it, and you have to figure it out again. The tech part is very difficult. They haven't really made it easy yet. They're getting better. It's better than it was a couple of years ago, but it's not easy yet.
Well, let's talk about marketing. So please share a marketing strategy that you've used in your book launches that has worked well.
Well, the thing that works best for me and keeps my book selling year after year after year is doing my blog, in which I'm a psychotherapist. I write about relationships and psychology issues. So I write a blog, which I post twice a week, answering people's questions about their lives and relationships. And in each one, I mention a book and provide a picture of the book cover and a link. And that seems to work very well for me. And the blog gets syndicated through various other websites other than just my blog. And then the other thing I do is, you know what Help a Reporter Out is? HARO, H-A-R-O?
I have actually heard about that.
Okay, it's called I think it's helpareporter.com. They are a listserv that just puts out questions for reporters who are looking for experts in various fields, and you can choose your field. And it's free, which is pretty amazing. And you get this list of questions every day, and you pick the one or two that are appropriate to you in your books and answer those, and then you get published. I got quoted in an article on MSN.com about Prince, Meghan Markle, about Meghan Markle, who just married the prince.
Yeah, Prince Harry.
And right, and her dysfunctional family, and they wanted me to talk about how she should handle her dysfunctional family. That sold more books than any other article I've ever been quoted in. It sold like 50 copies in one day.
And that was through helpreporter.com, right?
Right, and it's continued to sell. And you don't know in advance which one's going to do it, But I just think keeping the word out there. I've got Twitter, my Facebook pages, and my website and my blog, and I just keep that information rolling out there, and that keeps the books going. And, some books sell well one month, and another book will sell well a different month, but it works for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the biggest things I've learned about marketing. No matter what you're marketing, whether it's a book or your publishing services or coaching, you can't just rely on just one channel of marketing. You have to have multiple channels because you want to reach out to as many people as possible.
Right, exactly. And when I'm talking to you, for instance, I'm reaching out to people who've never heard of me before, and that's great for me, and I'm sure it's helpful for you to have somebody on your podcast, so it's a win-win situation.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about your favorite book. So what is your favorite book, and what was the number one thing that you learned from it?
My favorite book to read?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, I really love a fiction book called Possession, and it's just a phenomenal writing feat, and I love reading it. In terms of books that have helped me in my career, there's a whole lot of them. Right now, I can't come up with the title. I'm sorry, but I love reading good writing. When I'm reading for entertainment, I look for really good writing, and that's what thrills me. And Possession, and the author's name is A.S. Byatt. It's just an amazing book. It takes place in different time, like different parts of history simultaneously, and it's just a tour de force of writing.
Kind of sounds like Outlander a little bit.
Well, maybe. I don't know much about Outlander, but
it's kind of similar when it goes through different periods in history. So it has that connection. What was the number one thing that you felt that you learned from that book?
Well, I just learned to be in awe of her writing. I'm not a fiction writer, so I don't think I could do that. I'm just in awe of what she did with her writing. And I've read it a few times, and it's thrilling every time, so it's pretty amazing. My books are much more practical, much more, it ends with you, how to grow up and out of dysfunction, or the 10 smartest decisions a woman can make after 40, or, Dr. Romance's Guide to Finding Love Today. They're very practical books, so they're a whole different writing thing.
And for a final question, what is your favorite quote and why?
My favorite quote is, "It's never too late to be what you might have been." And it's my favorite quote because that's what I do with people. I help them be what they might have been. I help them sort through whatever blocks are in their lives and get past them and learn from them and grow. And that's what my books are for, too. My books come out of my counseling practice. They're the same things I tell my clients, only in a more organized form. When I'm in counseling, I just sort of fly by the seat of my pants and answer the questions as they come up. In a book, I have to get it more organized. So that's what it's about. It's never too late to be what you might have been.
Well, Tina, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show. What is the best way for people to find you online?
At my website, tinatessina.com. You can find everything else there. All the books are listed. I've written 15 books in 17 languages, so they're all there on my website. And emailing me You can email me from my website. You can get to my blog from my website. So that's the central location, tinatessina.com.
And your blog is there as well, right?
You can connect to my blog there, yeah.
Excellent. Well, Tina, thank you again for being a guest on this show, and I wish you all the best in your author journey ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity, Paul. I really appreciate it.
Thanks again for joining us today. To learn more about how to get your book published with a proven system that works, grab a free copy of my book at getpublishedpodcast.com.